Hi, it's Josh McDonald here from Josh McDonald Transformational Coaching. I just wanted to share with you in today's video the reason why the mind is always trying to move you away from pain and towards pleasure. And it really comes down to a biological and evolutionary response. The mind, the whole purpose of the mind, the one job that the mind has is to keep you alive for as long as possible. And so what the mind does is when you feel some sort of pain, whether that's emotional or physical, when you experience some sort of pain, the mind says, okay, so this is pain, this is bad, it could equal death if I do this again. So I need to move away from this and towards something that's pleasure. So what the mind's always going to do is try and move you away from pain and towards pleasure as fast as possible. And it does this by remembering what it is that's caused you pain in the past and what has caused you pleasure in the past. And so it will try and move you away from those things that have caused you pain in the past. And whether or not it's causing you pain now or whether or not it's causing you pleasure now is almost irrelevant at this point, because you've already created this path, this programming in your mind as to what is pleasurable and what is painful in your life. So I'll give you some examples as to some of the areas where you might find that you are experiencing pleasure or where you're experiencing pain, but the mind is telling you that it's pleasure. It might be in where you are eating junk food, because in the past you've said, this is comfortable for me, this is something that causes me pleasure, I enjoy eating. And therefore, whenever I'm in pain or whenever I'm emotionally in pain and whenever I'm physically in pain, what is it that I want to do? I want to go and eat. That's something that causes me pleasure. And you might be someone who's, 10 kilos overweight, 20, 30, 40, 50 kilos overweight. You might be someone that's morbidly obese. But because your mind in the past has said, this is something that's pleasurable, I need to move towards pleasure and away from pain, because your mind has understood that that is what its programming is, that's what it's going to continue to do for you, even though it's no longer causing you pleasure. It's actually harming you now. Another example of where you might be moving yourself towards pain when your mind thinks that it's pleasure is social anxiety. So your mind says that feeling anxious in a large space where there's lots of people around is because there's some sort of danger that's there, and so being alone is pleasurable. When you get to the point where being alone, because of your social anxiety, means that you're disconnected from society, means that you don't have connections, you don't feel love, you can't even spend time with people that you enjoy your time with because it's socially crippling. That's where something that used to cause you pleasure is now causing you pain, and so it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's not doing the job that it was originally intended to do. And another example is exercise. So at some point in your life, if you're someone who can't exercise at the moment, you're someone who just doesn't enjoy exercising, there's some point in your life where you've said, exercising causes me pain and I need to move away from pain and towards pleasure. And that pleasure might be relaxing. At some point that was right for you. You might have had an injury, or growing up you might have always been exercising and you just didn't enjoy it, and so you told your mind that it's something that's not enjoyable, it's something that causes you pain, and relaxing is something that causes you pleasure. But if you get to the point where you're not exercising, it's causing you to have weight issues, it's causing you to have muscular issues, skeletal issues, cardiovascular issues, any sort of issues that come from not exercising, it's no longer doing its job for you. It's no longer moving you towards pleasure and away from pain. So your mind's only job is to keep you alive, and that's no longer what it's doing anymore. So if this is where you find yourself at the moment, you can do, there's one thing that I would really suggest that you do, and that's communicate with your mind in a way that is really useful. So your mind's job is to move you away from pain and towards pleasure. Your job is to communicate to your mind what is pleasure and what is pain, so that it knows exactly what it needs to do. So one way that you can do this is by saying to your mind, there's nothing that I would rather do than do this right here. And I'll give you an example. We'll continue along the example of anxiety. So if you find that you're unable to go to a shopping centre, you're not able to be in a big crowd of people, and you know that this is causing you to disconnect from society and to feel like there's something missing, to feel depressed and to feel anxious in general, one of the things that you can do is you can go out to a shopping centre, you can go out to somewhere where there's probably not as many people as, it's not a large crowd of people, but there's more people than you're feeling comfortable being around. And you can say to your mind, even though you're feeling anxious, you can say to your mind, there's nowhere that I would rather be than right here, right now, doing this. There's nowhere that I would rather be than to be in a crowd of people and becoming comfortable feeling in a crowd of people. If you are someone who is overweight and you can't stop eating, what you can say is there's nothing that I would rather do right now than to eat a healthy salad to make my body feel comfortable and to get the nutrients that my body needs. So that one phrase, there's nowhere that I would rather be, or there's nothing that I would rather be doing, is a really useful phrase for communicating with your mind what causes pleasure and what causes pain, and to reprogram it so that it's actually working for you, so that it's actually doing its job, what it's supposed to be doing. So if you've enjoyed this and you enjoy hearing about hypnosis and things like that and you want to give it a try, I've actually got a free track that you can try out. If you head to unlimitedconfidence.com.au, just pop in your name and your email address so I know where to send the track to, and you can try out hypnosis for free. Until next time, guys, have a great day.